All right, team, let's get right into it. The advisory proposal system. It took us a very long time to figure out how do I be able to help somebody to packaging they experience and stuff they do behind the scene that they know they have the skill sets for, but just aren't able to actually articulating that value to the public place with a clarity and exactly step by step how to help your prospective client so they're willing to sign up. So most of the time, when we do having a consult or sales meeting, we're often looking at where they're at, where they want to be, and we say we'll look at those situations. But we're that probably going to be okay for a referral that people who already trust you. But from a marketing standpoint of view, when if you're meeting a prospect who know nothing about you, they expect a lot more value than you just spending a half an hour time to get to know them. They want you to give the real value, exactly what you do and how you do it, and a step by step how you do it right on the front, and give all that value to them right beginning to increase the perceived value of your product, so they can see that you've been doing this in the past, and you kind of just repeating the same process and put yourself in an expert position. They know that you already know what you're doing because you got a track record of how to do it in the past without trying to do any huge amount of diagnosis. Obviously, every client is different. What we're going to present to them is why we're doing what we do and what we do, and the step by step how we do it. Obviously, every client, when you try to present a proposal, are different. So the differences of the customization specifically to that particular business or client are going to be in the paid product when they pay the money that we can give them, right? Apart from the specific customization, that a very detailed teller to them, we give everything out to them. So they wanted to pay to go further implementation, therefore get them assigned at a really, really high rate at about 80%. Obviously, for people who are willing and able to buy. There's a process how to qualify them, which is not part of this meeting. We call it the booking call, how to qualify them, make sure they're willing and able to pay. And from that, then we'll bring them into proposal, which then we're seeing above 80% conversion. So we're going to help you to package your advisor framework. I'm going to install the proven proposal template through AI. I'm going to show you a couple of tools that I use AI to do it. And so later on that you can go back and do that yourself. So Go is pretty simple. It's going to show you how to package your offer into a framework. Proposal, the word framework is very, very important. Often we give them what we think is a solution. You got to do this, or that. Now, that's a big no in advisory space, because you could actually do wrong by providing them a solution without knowing a situation. And a situation does not take a session. It takes a little bit longer than that to actually implement. And so what we're trying to achieve is show them the value by giving them a framework, like a 3-circle is a framework, and a timeline is a framework, a cross with top, bottom, left, and right, center is a framework. And so the key is to give them more than one thing to framework it, which is what they need to be look at and what we're going to do together. And then the customization becomes the how-to, which they're going to be in pay product when they buy the fee. So even though you have never sell the advisor services on your own, and you can achieve it without needing to change a template too much. So I want you to have a template that you can use again and again, and do a little bit of customization through AI every time when you're meeting a new prospect. That's my goal. Cool. Now, you should expect to save months, I think, as a minimum, because I'll be in this industry for a little while. Most people, especially a high-value client, that business doing millions, they take a lot longer time to decide. So by packaging something really, really professional, it's going to be a game changer. Now, disclaimer, you need to have your niche offer crafted for this position to work. It's like, I don't know what's my product. I don't know who I'm going to serve. And if you have no idea about who's your client and what the product's going to be, then you can't pack the proposal well. You can still go through the training, but there's a separate training called a signature offer, how to pick a niche. All that is important to have the who and the what down packed before you can present this proposal. So you can refer to that module in a portal. And if you haven't registered, you can actually just search in school. There's or on my LinkedIn profile, there's a community that you can join, and you're going to access that particular module. Okay. So you're going to stay until the end of it. You're going to have the whole proposal template give out to you, so you can do a bit of editing yourself and start presenting close clients. Exciting. Okay, so who's this for? For accountant, bookkeeper, CFO, financial advisors, and business advisors, consultant, and looking to sell value and close prospect fast. So this is our entire product. We'll have a way how you track client, the way how you convert, the way how you scale. In Attract, we have identify your niche, who you serving and what's your product, and how to feel your audience come in every day so you have the right prospect to talk to every day. In the convert side of it, will help you to amplify your content so you build know, like, and trust. Install automation so you can have a marketing system that running on autopilot, and the way to warm your prospects so they are in a position to buy. From a scale side of it, we've got design your model. Is it returner? Is it upfront? Is it a short offer? Is it a non-offer? And look at your business org charts and structures. We have embedded deliveries, which is how to deliver your advisor process, onboarding as well as ongoing. And we'll have a KPI and system set for teams, each person, how to move them into KPI position. So you can run a team as a proper org charts that fire the right energy and duty allocation for the desired outcome, which is your revenue and profit at the end. Now, in this particular module sits in warm prospect. So how do we warming up a prospect with this proposal in a position where they go, yep, I wanted to pay to start experiencing what you have just presented to me. Cool. A little bit about me. I come here 2002 in Hobart, Tasmania. Took me about a year to learn how to speak English. Graduate Master of Accounting in 2010. Become the top 2 advisor among hundreds of financial advisors in 2012 in Westpac. And later, when I got fired on the same day, they want to fire me. I quit just before they fired me because there was a whole bunch of politics and I was top performer, but I couldn't get promotion. I said, if you don't promote me, that's fine. I'll get out of my way. I'll do my own thing. So that's what happened that year. And started cold calling from one room, started my own business in 2014. And it did 400,000 first year, then 700,000, become the advisor of the year. And at $1.2 million at 2017, I sold at 2.5 multiple revenue on the back of that. So that's a short history of where I come from. We had a holistic of white label accounting, financial advisory, and mortgage, and as a holistic business back then. So then be able to travel, send my kids to private school, all that stuff. Obviously, this is not about me. This is our office. I think right now I've been probably working around about 500 accountant, financial advisors, and business consultant thus far. So that number is still there. That hasn't changed. Built 2 7-figure businesses and exit one of those. That's our office over there. Some of the brand that work with in Australia now probably have about 5% advisor consultant across the world, but majority of our clients in Australia right now as we speak. Here's some of the results we got from a client: new business in 40 days, referrals high value client from compliance and value advisory, a generating value for clients, start loving the accounting work again, 8 clients in 2 months, 20K business 60 days, transition from an hourly rate to monthly fixed pricing, and other results and tons of others. Cool. So you know who I am, what I'm doing here. So today, what we're going to do, 3 things. Number 1, package your advisor into a framework. We're going to break down your advisor skills step by step, repackage them into a sellable framework, install the proposal template. It's about 45 pages. Select deck and then customize to fit your offer. And then strategy 3, we're going to show you how to use AI to actually increase the perceived value with nice presentation charts and predictions with visual, so that help you to just make your offer prettier and more valuable, which is important. That's why I'm putting a suit today. So see, so here's some of the problem that we see. Number 1 is you have the skills, but you struggle to put them together and present value. Yeah, you know what you're doing, but I just don't know how to articulate them well, so my prospect is really clear they're gonna buy. Now, be given the solutions in the past, say this is what you got to do, so they feel like, hey, I'll get what you're saying. But then what happened is no need to pay advisory anymore because you just told me what to do, although they're probably not going to do that well, but they feel they've got the solution. So they're not proceeding to paying for the advice. And so you spent too much time following up a prospect. We hardly do any following up and chasing in our world because either they qualify a fee or they don't. Either they want to buy it, they don't want to buy. If we don't think that they fit, they're not willing able to pay, we're just not going to pitch them. So it's very important that we qualify them. And if we feel they are a synergy, then we'll try to pitch them, which then it should not be any following up. Either we are a fit or not. Cool. Obviously for people we're not fit, we're not trying to sell them because that will bring the bridges relationship. We just put them on the back end. We'll have what we call a Dream 100 system on the back end. Email marketing will nurture them when they are ready to buy, because we can't control when they're ready due to variable different factors in their life and businesses. Lastly, it's going to cost you a lot of time, and so you end up with a fewer sales. Cool. Now here's an opportunity if we're going to do well. You would pre-pack your offer. Okay. Basically, you'll pre-pack it so into this convertible presentation. So when you give it to them, they go, aha, you thought about everything. You've got a product. A great differentiation between a services and a productized services. Okay. A productized service is a pre-made, and a services has to be diagnosed, look at everything before you can figure things out. Especially in the cold traffic marketing world, it's important to present something that is pre-made so they know that you be in the trenches doing it. Second, provide value through framework, not solution, so your prospect wants to pay. 30, convert 82% of the leads while willing able to pay. We're in the final phase of this. And you'll cut your time span of selling list over 55%. Okay. It just saves time. And that you end up with more sales, and time is money. So in saying that, let's get into the work. By the way, for your reference, I'm using 2 tools to build advisory template. Number one's called a JAMA, JAMMA. Thus far, and I find that it's the most powerful tool to build a proposal. Okay. And the second thing I use is ChatGPT. Cool. So that's 2 things that I use to build my proposal. Now, this is the proposal that you would have got the link. There's around about 45, 46 slides. You don't have to use everything we've got, but this whole proposal have built design by show value and sell at the same time. Okay. Most of us, if you come from a sales background, you know how to sell, which is a hard selling. There's no value. That's probably 20% of us. But most of us professions, we have got lots of value. We can talk, but we're not be able to sell. So a good balance is ability to articulate on value, showcase, give value, and you sell at the same time. Okay. So at the end, there's a decision to be made. That's what the proposal design will be. Okay. So I'm going to use my AI, which is same 46 slides right here. A little bit more, but yeah, that's getting work. Okay. So the first part is how to use proposal. Obviously, if you were to present to a client, you're going to delete that particular slide. And you start with this strategy proposal as the first slide prepared by yourself from ABC Advisory. Now, there's 8 steps of how to do it. Step 1, set agenda. So what we're going to cover today and what your expectation is going to be, what's my expectation, the time it's going to take, the value inclusion in today's session. So set the right agenda so that we can guide the prospect to follow the entire process. Okay. Second is pre-objection handling. If there's any doubt they're having about you, about your strategies, about themselves, so it's either they doubt themselves, inability to implement, they doubt you, your advice may not be great, they doubt the processes, the product. So anything that you find out, we need to identify that as early as possible. And trust me, every prospect have objections before you buy. The truth is to pull out your card and pay. Before that payment, you want to validate who else out there providing similar services. Is this guy legit? Has he got the right strategies? And so when that's true, our goal is to pre-handle the objections by bring the objection inside of the mind, bring to the surface as much as possible, and just put on the table to actually talk about it. Okay. Majority of the time when we try to actually close the client, they don't buy. It's not because they don't buy at the end of that price. It's because there's a lot of objection in their mind that they have not shared with you. Think about when you buy a services or product. What's gone through your mind? You may have to validate with your partner. You may have to look at comparison. If I pay this $1,000 to buy this stuff, then I won't be able to pay $1,000 for something else. Opportunity cost. If I pay that, what about if I don't use it? If I use it, what about if it's not well? So all these doubts in your mind, your goal is to make sure bring them all on the surface. I actually talk about it, have a best intention to help your prospect to gain clarity. What is actually best for them? And this is the part that we're not trying to sell them that we are the best, but simply help them to understanding their concerns, objections. Because if that's been clear, then they are in a position to buy. Again, a confused mind, don't buy. A clear mind, buy. And your job as the input of the sales process is help them to gain clarity and a pathway, there's 8 steps to get to a result. Clarity, pathway. Okay, so that's the input of your energy. Your goal is not to get them buy, but to help them with the clarity and a pathway to get there. Okay, and so what's the result? The output, they're going to buy and you get a client. So don't focus on the result, which is signing and get paid, but focus on the input of that. Third, you're going to map it out 3 to 5 phases of implementation. And so assuming we're going to work together, and I can't give you all the strategy in a 60 minutes, and people don't expect that. So you got to let them know. And so you would show them, if we were to work together, this is what I do with my current clients in the 3 to 5 phases, whether the 3 phase or 5 phase, we'll get to map that in a second. And we're going to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that typically takes this time, 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So that's pre-made. You show them what's going to happen inside of that. And you tell your prospect, I'm going to give you exactly the big picture why we're doing it and what we do every single step. What I can't do is give you everything in 60 minutes with every how-to with the solution, because that takes 30 days or 60 days to do it. But I'm going to give you everything I can in this session. So you're going to get a really good test of it. And that will help us decide if there's something we want to pursue at the back of it. Cool. So that's how you framework the phase 3 or step 3 in this 3 to 5 phases. Step 4, you're going to help them identify where you are now. Okay. If it's tax, how much tax are you paying? If it's a wealth, what's the assets you have? If it's a profit, what's your current profit versus your revenue? The cash flow, what's your cash flow cycle looks like? What's in the bank account? Future is the exactly opposite of that. Okay. What's the future position looks like? And then give them a gap. What's the gap in the middle? And show them these are the gaps, the problems that we're going to fix. That's step 4. Now, step 5, you do a final objection handling. So say, hey, Mr. Prospect, now I've answered a few questions on the pre-objection handling because, okay, the other very important thing is that you don't want to load all information to your prospect. So you only want to give the information to the prospect for what they want to know. Okay. There's probably 100 things people need to know to grow businesses. They don't need to know everything. And so in their mind, they probably only have 5 questions. And your goal is to make sure you answer those 5 questions. And don't prompt more questions because there's a pointless. You only need to help them with clarity based on what they want to know. Okay. So that's what a pro-objection handling does. And then you get to a gap. So here's where you are, here's where you're going to be, and there's a problem. And the next question is, now you've know what we're going to do. Now we've identified a plan for you and the gaps we're going to fix. That's customized to you. Assuming if we're going to work together, what do you see the potential hurdles that we're going to get resolved? Again, you're doing a final check-in on their mind to see what things that they will concern. Okay. And you got to handle that. So all sales made at the beginning of the sales process, not at the end of the sales process. Okay. So handle that again. Would there be anything else stop us to get resolved? How do you feel about that? Is there any concern, your organizations, your business partners, who else needs to be involved? So because without identify those things, the decision cannot be made because there's things to be announced. So we do that. Now that's step 5. Step 6, get commitment. Is it something you want to do it or you don't want to do it? If you do, are you committed to do it? Because we need you to commit and be able to make it work. Once you get a commitment, step 7, you give them offer and a price and a guarantee, potentially with some bonuses. The offer is basically explaining why do I do what I do, what I do, and how I do it. Pricing is pricing. It's price. And a guarantee is that tell them that for decision makers and the people that I work with, I'll have a certain capacity how many clients I can take. If you'll be able to make a decision, and these other guarantee are happy to put on the table because the guarantee allow people to move now. Okay. What happened without a guarantee, you give them offer, give them pricing, they can sit on it for the next 6 months. Yeah. Because there's no reason to move forward. So after price and offer, you got to give them a reason to move forward now with a clear benefit. So think about what benefit can you give them if they are make a decision now, as opposed to make a decision in 6 months. Cool. And the next step, whether you collect a deposit, send an engagement letter, get an invoice, and set up for the next meeting. So that's 8 agenda for the entire process. Cool. Now I'm going to dive into each one of those and to show you how to build out over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. Before I do that, now I've covered what we're going to do today, the reason why we need to build a proposal from a big level, why we're doing this. I've given you a template with 8 steps of what we're going to do to close a sale through a proposal format. And in a second, I'm going to go through each slide to show you how to do it. Yeah, so why, what, and how. Cool. Okay, so I've done that. This is a strategy proposal. And first slide is going to be, the whole thing is going to be agenda or value. Probably not going to be here to customize your value, your missions. It's not part of the today, but you can have a value or mission or 3 of those there. You can use ChatGPT to map it out your own version. But it's important that your value mission are designed to capturing the broader market, whether it's you focus on profitability for business growth. If you focus on wealth for somebody, in this case, it's about tax and wealth. So either dealing with tax structure wealth or business advisories, okay? From that angle, you have your value proposition. So people know that feel good about that you have A statements there. Now, by the way, you don't have to everything we have here. If you just have like 60, 70% what I've got, you're going to be amazingly incredible well, hopefully compared to what you've been doing in the past. And even though you have, I believe you should have all the slides set, but you don't have to use every slide as when you present, because you still want to make sure you have a dynamic conversation with people while having a different slide as you sliding it through like this. Okay. And so you want to have a conversation with people. So just a little bit about us. This is our value, a little bit about me, and this is my background, and our vision is this, and our mission is that, and that's really our goal is to try to help people to achieve that. Cool. So as simple as that to explaining what it is. And here's some of the stats that we've been serving. Now, when I come down to stats, you wanted to look at a few different things: the years experience you have, the total clients you helped in the past. Okay, so it's about you, it's about number of clients, and then the other couple of things about the result of the client. if you were to help a 5% profit for businesses, you can look at your total business in terms of total revenue. And if you can apply the 3% profit for the total business that you helped in the past, assuming you help business generating more profit, then you can use for example, a 50 mil and a 3%. Cool. That will be what, $1.5 million net profit generated for the clients, for example. Okay. So we're using like tax saving a year, interest saving a year. So you just map it out your own, look at yourself and the client, and then just do a rough calculation on the results. If you're saving times, like I've saved 2,000 hours for businesses through my automation specialists or finance functions and etc. Okay. So the result's going to be focused on money and time. Money could be tax, wealth, profit, cash flow, revenue, and then total customers and your own expertise in terms of experience. Why not? Cool. That's how you map your own stats. This one, agenda. So the goal for today, we're going through the strategies and help you to implement as much as possible with the time that we have allocated. Cool. You can ask me any questions along the way. And my goal is to make sure I'm also going to give you an actionable plan. So you walk out of this meeting, you know exactly what to do for the next 30, 60, 90 days with step-by-step process. And then what to be considered to achieve your goal in 12 months time. I've done a step 2. Step 3, we'll work out at the end if we're actually good fit to work together. So outcome 1 will be that we like each other and we see the strategy is going to work out, and I'm confident I can actually get your result. But then we'll both make a decision, depends on the scope, to decide to work together on some scope. And we'll say yes to each other. That will be option 1. And option 2, for whatever reason that we feel that it's not going to be fit, we'll park our way, we'll shake hands, we'll say no to each other, and there's no hard feelings for that as well. I'll still give you as much value as I can. Cool. So that's how I frame it in a neutral fit. If it's a bigger business, you live it like that. If it's some businesses, they can make their own decision without going through the board. Then you tell them that we're not in the position to try to follow up and chase any people because we're looking for the right fit. Some people will try to actually follow them up and actually try to sign them into something. They just don't get the good result. And we prefer to work with people who are right fit. So if something we're not sure, we prefer not to do anything because we want to save you time and money. So you can actually bring that up. So they know there's a decision to be made at the end of this presentation. But if things cannot be decided by the prospector right on the Zoom, then you will leave that part out. So that's the agenda. Cool. Going to help you out, map it a plan, doing as much as possible, going to make a decision in the end. Requirement to work. So I think there's only 2 key objections. Either, we're busy or I don't have money, right? Again, time and money. You can tell them we require about a couple hours a week or 2 to 3 hours a week. Depends how long would it take you to sort of need the time commitment. So you want to make sure that won't be an excuse at the end. It's like, do you have time to work with me? Or are you so busy with focus on other stuff? It's important to check in on that. They go, yep. Second, you can give them a budget range, or you can just give them a 1 fee. Now, we had a bit of a debate with some people saying, I don't want to tell them the fees. Either way, how you feel comfortable. But I know if somebody not willing to be paying certain budget, I haven't seen them comfortably paying if they know that they won't be afford that anyway. So basically say, we'll charge 2K a month. If the results are 10x of that, is that something within your budget? They're gonna not within the budget at all. So that, it doesn't matter how much you present, they won't be afforded. You can have amazing product, they just can't buy. Okay. So now they're willing to buy because they're part of the process, but are they able to buy? It's very important. Now, sometimes they may not be fully afford that, but bring the price up front, just allow them, yeah, I'm kind of scratching it, but I want to see. And that's really good intent. Versus somebody I never thought was going to pay you $2,000 anyway, and you try to give them 2K price at the end, they go like, oh, that's great, I'm going to think about it. It happens quite a bit. So it's important to discuss generally what the price looks like, whether it's a range or a fixed price. It's a one-off, which is short-term, or month-to-month, which is ongoing. Depends on if you sell a transformation product or you sell a transition, which is short-term 90 days product, right? That conversation is not part of today. It will be creation the offer phase. Check-in. Three things we do in the check-in. Number one is the key insight of the takeaway. So part of this proposal pitch is we got clients to do some work for us. So they either have filled out a questionnaire, or they have give us the login for the zeros, or they have completed a budget. They've give us some a goal planning sheets. We know exactly what they're trying to achieve. So they would have done some work, or they have watched the trainings, see some of your testimonials. The goal is to get them to do some work before showing up for this session. So it's say, hey, just check in. What was the key takeaway from ABC, whatever they've consumed, okay? Or the work that you did with them. If you logged in zero, hey, just check in. There's a couple of things I find out. We're gonna cover all that, okay? And then here's answer questions. The objection handling come from here. The first part of pre-objection handling comes from this part, time and money. The second pre-objection handling is that, what's your specific questions? I know you probably kind of understand a little bit what we do because since the last chat, what's a specific strategy or things that you're just absolutely concerned? So you do want to talk about things if it's not going to go well. Okay, you don't need to talk all things positive. You want to be very, very skeptical about your prospect, and you want to pull all objection right to the surface as much as possible. What about thing doesn't work? What about it's too good to be true? What question do you have? What concern you have? The more that you can bring the truth, the better that you sell. They go, oh yeah, and your cash flow advisor is great, but I don't know if it's going to apply to me. That's good. You better talk about now rather than at the end tell them the price. They still don't believe you anyway. Okay, that's good question. Why would you say that? So you want to do objection right on this part. The answer, again, only answer the question that they have doubt in their mind. Okay. The strategy ain't going to work. I don't believe I can do it. Or I don't know exactly what you do. So I don't know if it's going to be good for me at all. Okay. So if they go, I don't know exactly what you do, you go, perfect. I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do in a second. What else question you have? Right. And so you wanted to bring all the doubt there. Very important. And the lastly is result of the session. You want to let them know what we can and can't achieve during the call. Because some client may expect you to give them all the magic solution right in 60 minutes and for free. Smart people don't do that, but some people do. So let them know what we can and can't achieve in this call. What we can is I'm going to give you everything what we're doing for the client. For example, work with real estate, work with construction, work with treaties, working with online health. I work with people who want to build wealth. I'm going to give you step-by-step how to help these people to achieve that result. You're going to get everything from me. But what I can't achieve the call is I can't complete customized solution and exact the result I believe that you should be doing, because that would take me about at least a month or a couple of weeks to do it. Is that okay? Cool. So you set the expectation they're going to get all the why and what, not exactly all the how to, that customization. Okay. So that's check-in. Do all the objections. Next one. Let's dive into a 5-phase implementation. You can have a 3-phase, you can have 5 phases. Okay. So now they go, oh, you got a system now you're rolling out to me. So phase 1, I'll call it down with you. It's purely based on the strategy part of it. Okay. Phase 2, I'll call it down for you, which is the research and the modeling, the calculation we do behind the scenes. We do it for you. Okay. Phase 3, it's about dashboard, it's about reporting, it's about presentations. Okay. And phase 4 is about implementation. And phase 5, normally ongoing optimization, right? Now you can change the wordings around about done with you, done for you, and change the report presentation modeling. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to show you how to build your own 5 phases. But this is my 5 phases, right? You can borrow what I've got, or you can change it. Okay. So what I normally do is I will tell them I go straight into phase one. Okay. So in phase one, so you basically tell them what you're going to cover, and you're going to cover everything what you told them to cover, and you're going to wrap it up summary and told them what I've just covered. Okay. Set expectation clarities. Done with your strategy. So this is obviously for tax and wealth. So we're going to need three things. We need to do planning, we need to do strategy, we need to do checklist. I won't dive into the specific here. Okay. And because this is for a tax wealth product that we have. But what I do want to do and put this part out, show you what I would do for the phase one. So phase one normally will be done with your strategy. This is to advise the client on what are the three preliminary strategy needs to be done for the implementation to be effective. Preliminary strategies. Okay, this is the first step that they need to take to get the 90-day result. Okay. Over here, you can see all the notes section. I have a bit of notes on the bottom. When you open up your PowerPoint, is that if you want to have 5 phases rolling out, we wanted to provide tangible value upfront with value framework. So we can show 35 phases implementation want to start working with us. To do this, you need the following tangible outcome. Again, if you don't have your product, you probably don't know that yet. The tangible outcome is going to be either money or time. Some people say, oh, can I help you to achieve a great lifestyle? It's not a tangible outcome. It's a feelings. Feeling work if you talk to friends, referrals. Feeling won't work for strangers. They can't feel unless they build relationship with you for a long time. Now, so there are two things. A dream outcome, for example, this case, 15% up for profit for construction business at a $10 million level in 1 to 3 years time. That's a dream outcome people want to achieve in 12, 24, 36 months. A 30-day result, which is a short term, additional 6-figure cash flow position within 90 days. Okay. A dream outcome, we call it a transformation. So if you want to sell a long-term programs or retainer at a 2 or 3K a month, you want to be able to show the prospect businesses you want to get from here into absolute dream state outcome for long term. And that's what people want, right? However, it's too long to grab. It's like it's a big great to get rich in 20 years. But it's, how do I believe that it's 20 years? How do I know that? And so you do want to have a short-term 90 days, which I call the transition. So instead, that's where I want to be. Great. But let's just do a transition. I'll show you how to get from 0 to 90 days and exactly the short-term result. And I hope that if we get this result, then, this will be achieved on the long term. So that's a long term and short term. Cool. So you're going to figure that out yourself through the offer creation phase. And so now we can dive into this particular part, the preliminary strategies to get a short-term result. I believe, Boris, so you obviously kind of work with constructions in that space.
Yeah.
If we were to have if long-terms get them profitability, a short-term to get the cash, what will be 3 things preliminary that you think we're going to have those kind of things ready, or more than 3, like a list of ideas that you think we kind of need in order for them to start getting the cash flow for the 90 days purposes only? Is it a system? Is that like, I've got some cash flow cycles there?
Yeah. Personally, I probably think there's probably 2 things. Most businesses don't review their overheads regularly, so fixed costs, especially in construction. So that would be one of the key ones.
So, okay, I guess there will be, that's good. So would it be fixed cost analysis or is it variable?
Sorry, I just the internet was just cutting out there.
Mm.
You were saying, was it a variable or?
Yeah, so you're saying lots of business they're not analyzing their cost. So do we analyzing the fixed and variable cost, or how, like, what's the thing that we need to have in order for
The fixed cost. So I guess when I would come in, and it's just an easy, I guess, easy win straight up front is to review the fixed cost. Use some form of like an 80/20 strategy just to pick out their biggest costs and drill down on those. Um,
okay, so I'll probably call it fixed cost analysis.
yeah.
I'll park some information here so we can use later. So fixed cost analysis number one. Any others ideas?
I mean, once we've got that, it's really about actually looking at their cash flows for each of their projects that they're running.
Mm,
And that's where I guess sort of the system comes into play.
yeah.
So I guess the way I think about it in my head, that fixed cost is the immediate cost they got right now, and the project cash flow, that's the future costs that they need to know about and then plan for.
Mm, got it. So I wanted to, cool. So the fixed cost and cash flow, it's great, but I
Yeah.
think it's still a common thing that people talk about, right? My fixed cost, my cash flow for project. I want to break that down to more specific pieces and decoding that to be like, what is the preliminary, what are the little things that they're overlooked instead of the bigger things? Like big thing is the revenue, profit, and cash flow. What's the little
Mm.
things? Like, okay, so I've got the like your cash flow cycles. Like, do you know what that means? Like, if you don't have the right cycle, you can have cash, but it won't cycle it, like things like that. Um, and obviously I'm not experts in that. So things that they have overlooked or they haven't actually considered.
Yeah.
So, and that will be a piece of strategy we can work with a prospect. Because if I say just the cash flow, I said, oh, I've got the cash flow, right? Potentially, that's what they're saying, although they probably don't. So we just got to break that word down to more specific. What are the multitude of component that goes to the cash flow that we're
Mhm.
putting at two or three parts? We got to discuss that as strategy.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
I mean, look, I think a big one is like, well, how are you defining cash flow? And with construction companies, why they struggle to, I guess, plan for it is they don't understand when the timing of those costs. So, like scheduling. So it really comes down to how their projects are scheduled. So when certain stages will be completed, that really dictates when they're going to get paid, and then all the lead
Yep.
up to that completion is all the costs they're going to incur to
Yep.
that. And that's basically what goes into create their cash flow as a business overall. It's the timing.
Yep. Perfect. So I will say I'm a construction uh construction advisor, help uh construction businesses going 10 mil play to get more cash flow, therefore more profit, up to 20%, up to 15% profit. And first thing is that I want to help them to get additional cash flow. This one has a 90-day plan. The problem is that they have this scheduling uh, issue with timing of the cost or delay in completion of the project that lead up to more cash flow and cost issues. What are the strategies and ratios that I can use to solve the scheduling and timing of the project and reduce cost? Okay, so for me, I have no knowledge in this space whatsoever, but I just kind of prompt it with my idea and I hope that I'll get something. Cost performance index, schedule performance index, resource allocation optimization, order management changes, look ahead scheduling. Okay, so the key, and again, don't know which one is appropriate. The key is not to use the word of cash flow because that's the result we're going to get. The key is not to use the word of profit because that's the dream outcome we're going to get. For example, when I do marketing, I don't say I'll do marketing. I said I'll look at your niche offer messaging, right? Which is what you can't come out yourself. But for marketing, it's like, oh, I'm doing marketing, some post social media, I'm doing marketing, whatever that means anyway. So we're eliminating those bigger words. We break down to specific so forecasting, cost per index, resource allocation, change order management, look ahead scheduling or scheduling analysis or project scheduling analysis, fixed cost analysis, for example. A real-time reporting analysis. I don't know what that will be, but does that make sense for us?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So for example, what would be three things that you wanted to change? Would be like analysis, fixed cost analysis, reporting. I'm just giving an example. This probably, maybe this is off, or is that sounds okay? What else you want to add for us?
Um,
Scheduling analysis.
yeah, no, I mean that touches on all the things. It's about knowing the fixed cost, having your schedules ready, and then having that information fed to you regularly and continuously updating it. So I guess that falls into real-time reporting analysis.
Yeah, cool. Now, obviously, you'll pick up three yourself. For the rest of you, try to actually customize your own. What is the three things specifically you need to do to get the 90-day result? Okay, but don't use the result as the word. Eliminating the word of cash flow profit. Let me repeat it again. So back in those three things, scheduling, you could have come up 20 things, right? But pick the top three things that you're good at. And that's listed, right? So I've got planning strategy checklist, that's for tax planning and advisory. Which one do you think, Boris, that will be most cool for you? Like, which one is you think is the most sexy and valuable?
I think scheduling analysis.
Okay, all right. So now we're done at phase one. You got three things, list of what it means. And I'm going to delete that. And let's say schedule analysis. So what we're doing now, we then build a model on the back of what we try to do is you're going to pick one of the most exciting thing from stage one. So in this case, Boris picked schedule analysis. We're going to pick that one there. And we're going to break down three core pieces of that particular theory. What else we can do to do the schedule analysis, right? To build a model around that. You see, we're going really detailed stuff now, not a high level. So it's the more that we break down our framework, the more value that it articulates. So that's what we try to do now. Okay. So give me a breakdown down of 3 key component strategy to achieve the result of scheduling project and cost on time. I'm just making things up. So detailed project plan, they call it a CPM, of the special word, schedule and focus, monitor adjustment, resource change management. So give me more, give me 3 more strategy. Which any of those that you like, or is anything? Project scheduling.
Yeah, I mean, the first one is our project scheduling, critical path management.
Yep.
Is
First one. Yep.
I mean, that second one is good as well because I mean, it's pretty much saying the same thing, but in a more specific way.
Let's look ahead of schedule, change order management system. This is just-in-time delivery system, project management software, automation, contingency planning. Maybe like you always don't do that, and okay. Again, so the goal is just to pick 3 things, and then you will just make it a name. We can name it as a the construction scheduling method. Okay. When you put a framework, if you call it the construction scheduling method, then it doesn't matter what you do in terms of the cash flow and profit, because that's the lag indicator, right? The only way that you can get your things right, you have the right scheduling with contingencies. So then you can do the forecasting and continue reporting, monitoring on that. And so the scheduling is the key to be monitored and get your cash and profit. So that's the belief that you're transferring now. Okay. So I'm going to implementing my scheduling system install that into a construction business with key 3 considerations. Okay. And so what's in the middle, you're going to get certainty, and therefore that predicted the cash and profit at the end. So there's all reason behind it. Then you get the 3 things, which is, 3 things will come up with that. What it might be that be choosing. So now we're done the phase 1 in terms of what's the preliminary. We'll pick 1 preliminary. We'll give the decoder more specific. Again, we're articulating more value behind the things that people overlooked. They haven't thought about it. That needs to be very, very detailed. Just checking what everyone else, were they still with me on the same page? Oh, great. Thanks for the thumbs up, Heath. Any questions, drop in the chat. For the rest of the slides, this is all around about the 3 things that Boris mentioned: scheduling, monitoring, contingency, whatever that he chooses. And so then you just ask ChatGPT, hey, give me the detailed step by step how to achieve that. 10 steps, 5 steps. And what you do, you just say, hey, first of all, I'll just give you charts. I'm talking about different things, right? Checklist, steps, pie charts, percentages. These are 3 things component to be considered within, again, decoding more. So in this particular case, I talk about now and future tax, growth structure, which is tax structure, and the wealth model. That's the 3 component. And what I do is I dive into details, I explaining now future tax, and future tax, which is 90% liability, now takes 10%. This is a checklist, and future tax come from the 3 environment. Then I give them a growth structure. Again, this is not about construction, this is about tax and wealth. Here's all the structure available from personal superannuation, unit trust, bucket companies. I'll talk each one of those, and I show them a tax comparison table. So this is me just ChatGPT now to come up with all the variations of the charts, pictures, right? Tax structure comparisons. There's timing on tax, when you buy, when you hold, when you sell. They're realizing a different tax consequences sequence, which needs to be considered. Mr. Prospect, you probably haven't considered because your last accountant told you to set up a family trust, but you never know what for, when you should be doing it, and when you're out of it. Here's a property development tax strategies. When I buy and hold, and when I buy and renovate, and when I buy and sell, what's asset protection tax rate for each one of those? Is the ultimate structure, if you have structure, what it means to you. To summarize that a little bit with the framework. Ultimately, on asset protection, tax planning, flexibility, and succession planning. By combining all that strategy into one set that but belong to you. And then what we do is give them case studies. Case study 1, maximum capital gain tax frustrated property. It shows you a 659,000 tax savings in 20 years, assuming you buy property under your superannuation versus your own name. To example, the capital gain tax. Second case study, bucket company profit distribution. It shows you that you're going to have a $61,000 tax savings if you have a business profit at a $500,000. Okay, charts and pictures, demonstration, facts. Number 3, maximize land tax savings through strategic property ownership structure. We'll talk about some as trust company. In this example, you're saving $75,000 land tax saving. Cool. So far we'll talk about close to about $1 million tax savings through restructuring. Look at your future growth model. So that's how I sell by giving evidence. Then we'll get to the wealth model, which is number 3 things. This is the model, this is before and after. So that's all the phase 1. Okay, I'm not going to go through my own stuff. Obviously, if you're accountant, you can use my stuff to sell incredibly well, I think. But this is about a customized version. So, what's one thing if we were to talk about detailed project scheduling? Okay, so I want you to give me a comparison table that shows me for a construction company uses detailed project scheduling tool, detailed project scheduling method to get additional time and cost savings. A table to explain simply the component of this method and comparison of the result, assuming if they are similar laws business right now. So I'm just trying to get some facts and data research to back it up my thesis. I mean, may not come out something exactly what we want, but project planning, scheduling, inventory management, labor management, material management, waste management, change in order. Expand the table. 10% time savings, 10% time saving, cost savings. You can look at that, yeah? Okay. Add the business size bin 10 million per year and apply the real numbers based on this percentage assumption you have in the table. Percentage assumptions. You can download it as Excel. So if I can see, I've got some fractional numbers apart from percentages. There you go. You now actually have the actual cost savings and time savings in dollar figure. Okay, and then what you can do depends what you want to do. You can reprompt it for anywhere. I'm not going to continue to do this because it'll get you really bored. What I'll do is I'll just copy that. And I wanted to minimize that. Don't give me the Excel version. I want the table to be in ChatGPT. Then I go back my PPT, or in this case, I'm going to go back to my JAMA. I'll come to this part. So I've given you all these examples and case studies, which is not going to apply to you specific. And I'll simply open up a new one. I'll just do it now. If you use this JAMA, if you are, I'll open up a new one. And basically I will say the construction scheduling method. Okay. I'll enter. Then I'll go to here. I'll basically just copy the whole thing. And I'll come to my stuff there. I'll just copy. Boom. If I share that, I can export stuff. I will then do a present. Yeah, got the whole thing there. Okay, so how much value now we're articulating in terms of what you're charging for 2K versus the numbers that you're showing. So that is the way how we are trying to propose an articulate value. Okay, so in relation to this tool, if you're ever going to be scheduling, it's $188, I think, USD. But what it does, you can literally import my PowerPoint, which I've given you. You can import that and make all the changes. You can import PDFs, Word document, any website, blog pages, information. You can import that, just give them prompt, say, hey, can I ask you to change something for me? So we'll change everything for you automatically through AI. Okay, there's a prompt there. You can ask AI to literally just say, hey, change this something. They will change this whole entire slides. We're going to show you in a second. Cool. Now, back into down to phase one. Bit of work to be going, but this is very, very important. So phase two, it's all about modeling, reporting. So I've got the notes on the bottom. This step to show the client what you would do for them without their effort. Why it's called work done for you. So research we do behind the scenes, it's calculation we do behind the scenes, it's modeling we do behind the scenes. This to save them time and articulating more value with visual. Sometimes the things that you're doing behind the scenes, but not establishing them well or not articulate them well yet. We want to show them the hard work behind the scene so they know the value about to deliver when they sign up. Yeah. So that's research, system automation, modeling things. Okay. Now, I don't know what Boris thinks, but I'll use ChatGPT every time. I want to show clients without the effort. What are the research, automation, calculation, a model that I can show this to my construction client that I'm doing behind the computer. Okay, so market analysis, project feasibility studies, automation schedulings, resource allocation automation, cash flow modeling, cost forecasting, budgeting tracking, scenario analysis, lead construction modeling. So you just pick reporting KPI dashboard. You pick the things, risk modeling, which you have first. So you choose a few things that you believe, hey, I'll do the risk modeling. So yes, I'm going to go with the grow, but the problem you're going to grow, you're going to collapse. Okay. So I'll make sure your risks are protected through that model. I'll do your cost benefit analysis that you don't have to. And the benefit of that is X, Y, Z. So then you put in here, these are three things I'm going to do for you behind the scene. So that's phase 2 that I'll do for you. And the reason I do that is benefit ABC through doing ABC, X, Y, Z. You still with me, everyone? Okay. Powerful, isn't it? Okay. Next part, what I do is normally done for you. This is something you can present, right? You can have a dashboard. Okay. And then you can just ask, it's a personal question. Based on what you know me so far, what report or dashboard that I can put together with all strategies that discussed so far to get them more cash flow. Cash flow forecasting dashboard and value management, whatever that means anyway. Or cost performance index, schedule performance index. Cool. That's all. This is a cool term, right? People don't. No accountant talk about it, so don't talk like accountant. Project profitability report. That sounds sexy. Automated schedule resource allocation dashboard. Scenario analysis, contingency planning report, inventory risk management dashboard, cost saving efficient report. Oh my God. What's my thing about it is that, hey, just do one report for me about what it looks like for cost saving efficient report. Boom, you got the report right now. Just put the report example in your PPT. That's what you're going to get. We'll do that later, but that's just give them samples. Gave me a sample of number 7 above, so I can showcase. Graphs, charts, dashboard. Cool. You got another Excel there. I'm going to later show you how to put in the charts and graphs, right? So you can really get anything that you want through the questionings. It builds the threats on itself, okay? So how far are we in? We've got the report. We're going to show you 3 report, 4 report. Just put it there. Here's a couple of sample report. Sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. Phase 4 is done for you in terms of implementation. Okay, you can make a simple strategy execution, ongoing support, whatever that you are going to executing, all right? Or just such what are my first immediate, what do you think? What do you think my immediate 5-step implementation that creates the biggest impact and at least amount of effort to get the result. All right, so you don't have to tell them everything. I think you just say, hey, this I'm going to executing those things. Is I think potential maybe over the information below. Is we're going to implement all the stuff that I showed you, and then step 2. So what's your kind of general guide and 3-step implementation? Okay, then phase 5 is about done with you. Normally, this is about the next. Either it's going to be ongoing optimization, tracking reviews, and etc., or it just can be the next problem after they solve the first problem. Okay, so if they solve the cash flow issues, for example, what's the next immediate problem they're going to see? Okay, you can solve the next problem, or you can solve the ongoing optimization. It's either one of these options here. You can insert there. Okay, then come back, summarize. 5 phases we covered, right? Give them 1 or 2 case studies on the back of each. Give them reports and charts and show the demonstrations. By now, the value should be a huge more than what it is. Okay. Now, once that's done, we're going to be look at. So far, I wanted to show you where we covered. I've covered the agenda, covered the pre-object handling, covered the 3 to 5 phase implementation. Now we'll get to step 4, now future gap. Okay. So step 4, which is this one here. You just wanted to show them a few things. It's all about money and time. So revenue, profit, cash flow position, or cash balances, or cash incremental changes, whatever, 2 or 3, 4 figures that relevant to you now, Mr. Customer. And then have a one single truth. The desired outcome has to be so single truth. It's okay. The goal, remember, it's going to get you profitability. The goal is going to get you 15% over 10 mil. Yeah. How much profit would you like in a $10 million? Okay, 15%, that's $1.5 million net profit. Cool. So we're going to collect everything right channel into one outcome only. Don't give them too many outcomes. And then you do the gaps. Your current situation, changing that to your deck structure, everything else. And you have desired situation, which is in 3 years, 1 to 3 years time, 15% profit. So you can just go give them a gap analysis. And I'll give you some example at the bottom as well. Okay. If someone making, just an example, if someone making 100,000 profit, the goal is to make a $500,000 profit. So they're looking at increase 400,000 profit. So that's 25% probability, $2 million revenue. That's wrong. Anyway, you get the point. So yeah. So $2 million revenue at a 25% profit will be $500,000. Am I right? Yeah. Growth pathway with profitable jobs and number of jobs, expand top line, pricing, expansion strategy, delivery efficiency, system workflow automation, cost reduction, fixed variable cost, labors and costs, and reporting dashboards so we can make decisions. So then I'll give them the missing gaps are 400,000 profit. And here's what a step-by-step we're going to reverse engineer to close the gap for you, right? So a number current situation and a number desired situation and a gap number and a decoding the gaps and how to get that result step by step. Case study. Show them changing the word. Okay. Now, so far, we've done step 4. We're going to get to final objection handling. So now you've got the 5-step processes. You know exactly where you are now. This number needs to be changed due to your collection information from a previous call. You know the gaps. We're gonna, you know how to step by step. We're gonna fix the gap. And so far we talk about numbers and their projections, and we're incredibly good at that because we're numbers people. And they are guaranteed from a number perspective. However, the realities are It's probably not as simple as just having this conversation. There's potential hurdles, a mindset shift, unexpected changes. Things happen along the way. And that's the truth, yeah? I don't want you thinking this is magical. It's going to be a lot of effort work to make it work. So your question is, assuming if we're going to work together, assuming if we are going to work together, what do you think the potential hurdles that stop us to get a result? Cool. So now you do your final objection handling. They're going to tell you, oh, I can't get the labor, right? Or I don't have the money, whatever, right? You're going to sit down and make sure that you do your final objection handling. And once you clear, and then you answer every question if they have objection, you make sure you handle that. Once you've done that, you say, what would it like if you can get to a 1.5 million profit in 12 months, 24 months, whatever construction business, right? And that will be amazing. Great. With two options. You can stay where you're at, or we're going to build for our future. What do you prefer? Yeah, by that point, people hardly say, hey, I prefer to stay where I'm at. Stupid, right? Like, yeah, want the second option. Great. Well, I'm going to ask a few questions to see if our offers actually fit what you do. It's very important for us to work with client the long term, but I'm asking you a few questions to see if you have any questions for me, to see if we actually fit for you, right? Again, you pull out more questions. Oh, what exactly you do, how you do it, right? This is what we do. Our expertise, that's already covered. I help construction business doing minimum $10 million plus. I help them get that result in this time frame without the risk of X, Y, Z. Typical work people who's in, home builders that is not dealing with commercials. A client typically have a 5 to 10 project, right? Customized to those people because you know them. There's only parts got to customize. Plus the current design situation. They go, yeah, that's expertise. Or client, that's exactly me. That's what you want to feel. Then you go, this is what we do. I've got my 3 core pillars, right? So in this particular wealth tax program, you got 3 core pillars, which is tax, growth structures, and financial models, right? That's for tax wealth. What's your 3 pillars, Boris? Remember?
Not off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Okay.
But they probably changed after this session.
Yes. So something to do with in the middle right there, there's a profit. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the 3 core pillar in 90 days to get them cash.
Simple.
Yeah. Okay. We'll come out 3 pillar. So that's what you're explaining it. And that's okay. So now it's like why we do it. It's what we do and how to do it. Quick setup, 30-day result, 60-day result, 90-day expected result. Okay. You can timeline that and then put the ongoing in the future. So quick setup, 30 to 90 days result, and ongoing implementation. Give them a 3-4 things maximum with the timeline because people don't know the pathway. When do I achieve all that beautiful things? But how long will it take? Right? Give them a timeline how to do it. Support. Our support people team, what we do, each one of the guys, a price guarantee. Again, whether you sell a retainer 2 or 3K a month or one-off. If you're just starting out of the cold traffic, just sign up one-off fees. If you be able to make a decision, be able to knock it off and give you $2,800, whatever it might be, or just say that, hey, if you make a decision, I'm going to give you a guarantee, meaning if I can't find you in these savings, I'm going to give you full refunds. Just encourage you to be able to make a decision. Okay. So how we want to structure it, but pricing and guarantee strategy is not part of this conversation. It's more put it there for you to demo you how you can use it. You got to give people a reason to move. A lot of time we get them offer, they can stay on 6 months. You've got to give them a reason to move. What are the benefits for me to move now as opposed to be 6 months? And it's got a legit movement. Now you can come in 6 months, I'll still welcome as a client, but you won't get this, right? You want to be able to do that. So there's additional reasons. Next step, I'm going to make sure this is going to be longevity we're looking for. Obviously, we're looking at a short-term result, but we want to make sure that we're all committed to the process. It's very important. Is that okay for you, right? Confirmation. Great. So now we're going to schedule a kickoff call to get it all set up. Time set. we're going to send you a welcome pack in email. It's going to including bit of this, bit of that, bit of survey, so you can get to know you a bit better, can prepare ready for kickoff, which is going to be exciting. Cool, ready? Go. Awesome. Now let's get started for the deposit. We're going to collect deposit. Here's our fee. As discussed, deposit to secure a spot, and we're going to be talking about everything in terms when we catch up next meeting. You're going to pay credit card, Visa, Master, done. Okay, or you can send them an invoice, or we're going to do some engagement. If you don't want to do the meeting, you can send it to them, they can do afterwards. Okay, either way, it's fine. Then we'll meet you next call. Done. Now, at the last few minutes, I want to show you how to use this AI tool. So there's a few very powerful things that we can use. And if you were to subscribe to this, again, I think it's $188 for the software. You can add a slide. And in the charts and diagrams over here, you can all have all this stuff there to make it your way. You can change the names and etc. You can have a as a pyramid. Right. You can add steps. Funnel steps was one thing. Timely. This is really cool. Time. This is what I've been used quite a bit. And I'll show you how to prompt it so the information will fill out themselves. You can have this one is really cool. Good, fast, cheap. That's good. Expensive, take time, low quality. So they're done the work for you, okay? So what you do, you will just say, hey, I don't know, let's give it a cash flow cycle. What is that? Give me an example. Well, I don't know. Just put random stuff, prompt it, and I'll just do all that for you. Okay. Initiation, execution, and completion. How beautiful. Okay. And then what you do, you just share that, and you can share that as a PowerPoint, PDFs, images, write out, and you'll have the thing. Okay. You can prompt asking, hey, try a different layout. It will give you a different layout. So what layout I'm going to get? Different layout. And you go, make it this more visual. Or make it more visual for you. Whether or not you like the pictures. Or you don't, there you go, constructions. So that's that. And then you can tell it by clicking, tell everything else yourself. You can prompt it there. You can put images, you can media, videos, testimonials. You can put over there. You've got different cards template that you can use, whichever format you pick. Like that one there. I think this one's really good. This one. There you go. That's the one I got. That's pretty cool, right? So you can do the stats there. Yeah, and then there's icon there. You can use, if it's layout, charts, diagram, there's also icon. You know, you can use different icon, bullet point, whatnot. Anyway, so that's how to use this tool. It's pretty easy to use. So you've got my templates now. You've got a framework, how to come up with the 5 phases and use ChatGPT to come up with examples and facts to back that up. ask ChatGPT to give you different kind of reporting using numbers. The more tangible that you talk about it, the better logic that you sell, the easier to sell. Because emotional come from time and building relationship, but logic is facts, figures that people cannot be overseeing. It's what it is, right? It's easier to convert. That's it. That will be the end of this session. Hopefully it's been super valuable for you.